high fever, swollen knees, can't make it from his bedroom to the bathroom in less than 24 hours. Urgent care did 3 tests, negative on all those tests, strep, flu, and COVID. Sent us to the ER. ER did tests, all negative, sent in a blood culture. Blood culture, thank God, came back way sooner than they said. It came back in about 24 hours. They called us back the next day, that next evening, and said, get him back in. We got him back in, and it was just one thing after another for like 9 days in a row. There was something else wrong with him. It went to his legs, into his joints, went into his bone, went into his muscles, went into his lungs. And it just one procedure after another, you know. It's like, and just watched it get worse and worse and worse and worse until he's on a paralytic and a breathing machine. And
yeah, it was terrifying to feel that helpless. I mean, you're just watching your baby suffer. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I mean, there was times like as his body was metabolizing the sedation, that, you know, he would partially wake up, even though it's not something that he remembers. Like, he would wake up and, you know, he would struggle against it and just feel, you know, he could feel pain. Even though he was on stuff, it just looked like he could feel pain. He couldn't do anything about it. No, it was hands down the hardest experiences of my life.
Oh, baby. Go over there and give your brother love.
I love you guys.
What are you doing, Ben?
Doing the 20s.
Don't get something nasty in your feet. Oh my gosh, what is that?
We're hitting the 20 in a little warm-up party.
right here is where they went in first, and they cleaned out the joint because they were really worried about the infection in the joint, which if they didn't, then you could have long-term problems with it. They went down here and found a big pocket of infection down here, went in here, cleaned all that infection out, also drilled a hole in his bone right here and let a little marrow or whatever it is inside his bone come out to make sure that there wasn't any infection in there also. That's where the procedure started after vacay.
After a vacation to the beach, we got back, and maybe like a few days after, my knees started aching and feeling this pain, and then it started to affect my walking, and then I think my mom took me to the
urgent care.
The urgent care, and they couldn't do anything, so they told us to go to the ER, and then I had to take a few tests, and then we just were there for like the whole rest of our summer.
It's true.
But a lot of things went
Whole
on.
last month.
That is a PICC line.
Show it to him. So the PICC line goes here, goes up into his shoulder, across and down, and drips everything right by his
my
heart.
Yep. That's where we give the antibiotics, huh? 3 times every 8 hours.
Very random.
You were
Never really been sick, huh?
No, never had to be at the hospital before. Super healthy. I'm very strong and fast.
Get up there.
Come on, Benny, come on. Oh,
Just that it's completely out of your hands when you work your whole life to take care of your family and you can't do nothing. Just sit there and watch, and they're poking and prodding and making holes where he doesn't need them, and has something in every hole that he has, and back to the beginning. This started from a cut on his elbow that he had before we went on vacation that he didn't know, and we didn't know if it was a bug bite or just like a little cut he had. And he was playing basketball up in his room on one of those little basketball hoops on your door and hit it on his dresser, and it got a little bit infected about 2 weeks prior to vacation, and the doctors think that's the only place on him or any sign of anything where this infection could have entered, and then just took its course. So
yeah, well, the thing is like he didn't have the bacteria that was in his blood was the staph bacteria we're in contact with every single day. Like, it's on our skin right now. And it's just very incredibly rare for it to be able to get a hold inside your blood and do crazy things. And it did.
So when my dad had called me like to tell me like his lungs weren't doing too good, that was like the really like serious phone call. That was just kind of like that day that was like one of the days I just dropped everything and I like called my friend and was just like, you need to take me to the hospital, please. Like, I just gotta get there right now.
After a little while, I spent the night at a family friend's house and they were talking to me about all this stuff and they were like, yeah, it's fatal. And I was like, did you really just tell me that? And they told me about his lungs and it just really scared me, like she said. It was just like shocking because I thought because it was just a bug bite, so I thought it was gonna be okay, but it wasn't for a whole month. It's just crazy how like I went to go get the mail and like stacks of bills. Like I was the first one to see them and then they just kept coming in the mail and I was like, but then I'm glad we got the GoFundMe set up and everything because it'll definitely help him.
All the help has been great. It's just crazy to see like all the tiny little things they'll charge you for.
Yeah.
Like every single little thing.
Expensive.
All in all, nearly a month in the ICU. There's a whole lot of expenses that we don't even know how big they are yet because it's still just accumulating and being counted.
And she did have good insurance with the school she worked with in Arizona, and we moved back here about a year ago, and we dropped that insurance.
That's the thing, though. It's like for me to have that insurance, I had to make hardly anything a month being a teacher at a middle school. And so
yeah, your take home.
I come here and attempt to be like a little more successful in my own business, and that means that has to go away until I get some other much higher level of success, where it's not a big deal to pay that much money per month. And yeah, we're just not in that. We're in that pocket that doesn't quite, not poor enough, not rich enough. The doctor, like, seriously, I feel like we received a really excellent standard of care.
Everyone in there.
I have no complaints about any of the staff or what.
It was beyond their job.
I really feel like
person.
so many people went above and beyond.
100%.
So, like,